We're kicking things off with our story of inspiration. A veteran shares how music helps him with post-traumatic stress disorder. Ryan Shannon first joined the Navy almost 10 years ago, training to work as a submariner.
I was really excited to move my career along. I was the first in my family to join, and was just excited to get there.
One day when the submarine he was serving on was docked for upgrades, a fire started on a nearby submarine. Ryan rushed to help put it out.
I remember pulling people out that I thought were dead. Nobody died that night, which was a miracle in itself.
The fire eventually was put out, but after that day, Ryan began to notice some changes.
A fire truck would drive by the apartment we were renting, and I'm instantly out of my chair, making sure they're not going to base, because there's this weird subconscious fear that, all right, I'm gonna have to go do this again, you know, or it's like hypervigilance, you're ready to go.
Ryan was diagnosed with PTSD.
PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, is a condition that some people develop after experiencing or witnessing a traumatic event. They develop chronic symptoms, intrusive thoughts of a traumatic event, this avoidant behavior such as, kind of withdrawing from social situations, withdrawing from people, avoiding certain situations that remind you of what happened. Also, negative alterations in mood. When we're, as clinicians, looking to provide a diagnosis of PTSD, the symptoms that I mentioned do have to persist for at least a month.
And it just started getting worse and worse and worse to where I didn't want to be that version of me anymore. I wanted to be the old version of me, so the only change I could see was think about suicide and things like that. And it's not me,
This is a treatable condition. We can reduce symptoms to the extent that people can return to something that looks very close to their baseline of functioning.
Ryan worked closely with his medical team, but ultimately also found that listening to music was making a big difference when he struggled.
I can throw this song on and I can connect with it, and it pulls me back out of it, and then I take my headphones off and I can stand up again, and I can go to the store now, and I can go to hang out with my kids or play in the backyard.
Ryan began to utilize music to motivate himself to get back to exercising and his regular routine. The change was a noticeable one.
I found I was motivating myself to get off the couch and to get moving. My PTSD triggers were happening, things like that. I was finding that music was behind everything to make that stuff go away,
PTSD is something that, the behaviors related to it actually isolate people. And therapy, even adjunct therapies and alternative complementary therapy approaches will actually help people expand that sphere of connectedness, which is really important to combating PTSD.
While some other health issues led to the end of Ryan's military career, he knew he wanted to continue serving others.
I think that's where the seed was planted for the Music RX Foundation. That's what I'm trying to do, is help people manage it. Our goals and our mission is to provide free musical instruments, free professional tutoring or technique if you already have an instrument, and then free music going experiences.
Occasionally words don't do justice to describing or expressing a person's reaction to a traumatic experience, and sometimes the expressive therapies, music therapy for instance, can be a very important conduit for that person to really start exploring their reactions to a traumatic event or a series of traumatic events.
Through his foundation, Ryan hopes others living with PTSD will be able to find therapeutic value in music, just as he did.
If I save one person from it, if I can send somebody to their favorite band's concert and they don't have to think about anything for that night except for being there and enjoying it, then I've done what I came to do, And I'm telling you right here, as somebody who's been to that blackness, and there is a light, and you can get to the light.
If you or someone you know is struggling with PTSD and is having suicidal thoughts, you can reach the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline at 1-800-273-8255.